Back in 2008, astronomers found a mysterious something orbiting a star called Fomalhaut. This star is very bright and sits about 25 light-years away from us. Trillions of miles, sure, but pretty close in space terms. It's in the constellation Southern Fish, the one that looks like a single fish floating in the southern night sky. It's a small and relatively dim constellation, but Fomalhaut is what makes it so special. In Arabic, this means mouth of the fish, and you might guess where that name comes from. It's the brightest star in the constellation. If you're in the southern hemisphere, you can easily spot Fomalhaut with the naked eye. For people in the northern hemisphere, it's visible in the fall, low on the southern horizon. But this constellation has a beautiful story. The myth says that this fish is the one that saved the deity Durcedo, who had fallen into a lake. So it became the symbol of rescue and protection. The fish in Pisces is said to be the offspring of the southern fish, forming a kind of family. At the same time, Fomalhaut is sometimes called the lonely star because it's one of the brightest stars in its part of the sky, but it doesn't have many bright neighbors. Hey, I can relate to that. Nah, just kidding. Fomalhaut is also a young star. It's only about 440 million years old. Now that sounds like a lot, but our Sun, in comparison, is 4.6 billion years old. And finally, it's surrounded by a giant ring of dust and gas. This is called a debris disk. It's like a dust cloud that serves as the birthplace of planets. It's like the Kuiper Belt in our own solar system, where Pluto lives, but on a much grander scale. But then, astronomers noticed something odd about this disk. It wasn't evenly shaped. This means that there's something that influences gravity nearby. A planet, perhaps? And when they took pictures of the disk, they found a faint glowing dot inside it. That was our mysterious gravity center, Fomalhaut b, or, how they named it later, Dagon. They immediately thought it was a planet. In 2008, it was a huge deal because scientists captured an actual image of it using the Hubble Space Telescope. Now that's a super rare thing, especially for objects outside our solar system, not to mention such tiny things as planets. And the photos were fascinating. At first, everyone was excited about the new world. Scientists thought that Dagon was a massive planet, something maybe like Jupiter, a gas giant. They even guessed that it had an oval-shaped orbit, which means that it would take about 1,700 years to go around its star just once. It's one of the craziest orbits we've ever seen. But as they kept studying Dagon, they noticed that things don't add up. For starters, they couldn't find it in infrared light. Now, planets that big usually give off heat, and telescopes like Spitzer, which look for heat signals, found nothing. Weird, right? Also, the planet was moving too strangely. Its orbit didn't match what you'd expect if it were shaping the dust ring. So scientists started thinking, maybe it's not a planet at all. And as the doubts creeped in, the hype calmed down. In 2020, they noticed another strange thing about Dagon. It was getting dimmer and spreading out. And well, planets don't usually do that, but clouds of dust do. This led to a new idea. What if Dagon isn't a planet, but the result of a massive collision? Imagine two big chunks of ice or rock smashing into each other at incredible speeds. That's what they think happened here, a giant space crash that led to lots of debris. That's how it got officially removed from the list of exoplanets. But then, in 2023, the new James Webb Space Telescope, which is even more powerful than Hubble, decided to take a closer look at Dagon. And when scientists looked at the data, they jumped back into the previous debates. Wait, it might be the planet after all. All this scientific back and forth led to Dagon getting dubbed the zombie planet. But after a while, astronomers finally found the middle ground. Dagon really turned out to be a dust cloud that's slowly disappearing, but there could still be hidden planets in the system. There's another ring of dust closer to the star that might be shaped by an unseen planet. There are many mysterious weird planets out there. Trace 2b orbits a star 750 light-years away from Earth, much farther out than our Dagon. It's in a region of the sky that's been heavily studied by planet hunters. It was first discovered in 2006 by the Transatlantic Exoplanet Survey, an observatory with a bunch of cool telescopes that are used to find planets. They use a witty method for it. They observe the stars, and when they see unexpected dips in brightness, that means that something must be passing in front of the star, making it a wee bit darker. This is called the transit method of the planet discovery. When Trace 2b was spotted that way, scientists took a closer look and confirmed it. It had a certain gravity pull that caused its star to wobble. But that also means that the planet should be gigantic, probably a gas giant like Jupiter or Saturn. But, unlike Jupiter, Trace 2b is much closer to its star. This makes it a special type of a planet called hot Jupiter. That's what we call gas giants that orbit so close to their stars that their atmospheres are scorched to extreme temperatures. Imagine if Jupiter was not only horrifyingly massive, but also almost burning. This planet is tidally locked to its star. This means that it always faces the sun with one side, just like we can only see one side of our moon. Its day side is blisteringly hot, but even the cooler night side has temperatures around 2,900 degrees Fahrenheit. But there was something very eerie about this new world. What really made it stand out was its albedo, a measure of how much light the planet reflects. Most planets, like Jupiter or even Earth, reflect a good amount of light thanks to clouds, ice, and other stuff. This is what allows us to see those planets after all. But Trace 2b is almost completely black. For some reason, it reflects less than 1% of the light that hits it. It's darker than coal or fresh asphalt. So, why is that? After some thought, astronomers think it might be because of its atmosphere. Jupiter has bright reflective clouds of a gas called ammonia, but Trace 2b probably doesn't have those. Since it's so close to its star, they'd burn up and get stripped away. So, its atmosphere might be made up of chemicals like sodium, potassium, or titanium oxide. All of this stuff absorbs a lot of light, and if you look directly at that planet, you'd see it almost as a black hole. What's even more horrifying is that if you were floating in it, since it doesn't have a solid surface, these elements could make the sky above look like an endless void, even if it's daytime. Though you'd probably still see its star, even it would be completely surrounded by blackness, like light at the end of a tunnel. In that case, shouldn't it be completely invisible? Well, it kind of is. But it also emits a faint red glow, likely due to its scorching high temperature. And even though scientists have studied Trace 2b for years, some questions remain unanswered. Why is it the darkest planet we've ever found? Is it possible that there are some unknown chemicals in its atmosphere? What hides beneath the darkness? These Jupiter-like planets are often crazy, like WASP 76b, for example. This is another gas giant located about 640 light-years away, this time in the constellation Pisces. Just like Trace 2b, this exoplanet is tidally locked. One side has a temperature of over 4,000 degrees Fahrenheit, while the other side remains in constant darkness. But what's crazy about it is that the extreme heat on the day side vaporizes metals like iron. The planet has insanely strong winds, and they blow this molten iron to the colder side. And you guessed it, the iron gets solid under colder temperatures, and we end up with a horrifying iron rain. All this stuff sounds like science fiction, but it's real, waiting to be explored. That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the bright side.